This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Monday, the 22nd day of July in the year 2019. Here is what we're tracking tonight. Chartered accountant and attorney Christopher Ram has moved to the court seeking a conservatory order to prohibit the Guyana Elections Commission, the Chief Elections Officer, and/or the Commissioner of National Registration from conducting or continuing to conduct the current house-to-house registration process. Mr. Ram also wants the court to grant an order compelling the Guyana Elections Commission and its Chief Elections Officer and/or the Commissioner of National Registration to immediately take all steps and actions necessary and requisite to hold general and regional elections on or before the 18th of September 2019. The matter is set to be heard before the Chief Justice tomorrow morning. Ram is being backed in the court proceedings by the opposition People's Progressive Party. He wants the registration process to be stopped immediately and for GECOM to start preparations for elections. The Elections Commission has already stated that it has started preparations for elections while it is conducting the house-to-house registration process. Attorney General Basil Williams, who has been named in Ram's court action, reminded that under the laws of Guyana it is an offense to not be registered, and those persons encouraging others to not register are also committing an offense. Ram took out a full-page ad in the local newspapers last week declaring that he was boycotting the process. Days later, the opposition PPP also said it was not cooperating with the registration process. Mr. Williams said he cannot understand the rationale behind moving to the court, especially since the two other courts have refused to set timelines for elections.
So I'm not sure why they're going to the court, because you must remember that they had also asked the Chief Justice to name an election date when the matter went before her, and she refused. So the CCJ followed suit, followed what the Chief Justice did. Because it's not for the court to jump into political situations, because, what happens if if the date is not met and all these things? You could bring the court into disrepute, and the court, So I think that it was it was a victory for our Constitution and for the doctrine of the separation of powers.
Meanwhile, the Guyana Elections Commission has reported that the process has been progressing well across the country. On the first 2 days of the house-to-house registration exercise, more than 20,000 persons completed their registration.
People are registering. Certainly in my area on the East Coast, all the villages, people are registering. So one thing is being said by the leaders, but the people on the ground, they are registering.
The Commission's Public Relations Officer Yolanda Ward today told News Source that in some areas, some persons have been refusing to be registered, but that is not widespread. More news coming up in just a moment.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95, tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95, tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyana's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Why you must register. Registration is a legal requirement according to the National Registration Act, Chapter 1908. Persons who do not register can be charged and fined along with imprisonment. Getting registered has two main benefits for eligible citizens: national identification and the opportunity to participate in the voting process. After registration, you will receive a national identification card. A national identification card may be used to vote at an election, identify oneself when transacting business or seeking employment, transact business at the bank, obtain old age pension, secure a driver's license, transact business at a post office, secure a loan, conduct a hire purchase transaction, obtain a police clearance, collect national insurance benefits, apply for a passport, apply for a TIN certificate. Don't miss the chance to get registered. Look out for GECOM. Make it your responsibility to register. For more information, contact GECOM on 22502-7729 or 223-9653. Email pro@gecom.org.gy. Contact the nearest GECOM registration office or visit the website at www.gecom.org.gy.
Hey, babe. Hello? Is Don me quite just done?
Buddy, you need to switch to GTT Fab 5.
Fab 5?
Activate the GTT Fab 5 plan today. For only 5,005, you get free unlimited calls to 4 of your closest family and friends, 5 gigs of data plus 250 text messages, and your Fab 5 friends can call you for free. GTT Fab 5.
Oh, yeah, I like the switch. Wicked Fab 5.
Summer is just around the corner, and this year we're giving you a Visacation. It's easy. Get your GBTI Visa card and travel to your dream summer destinations or shop all you want online. With Visacation, you get to win prizes when you use your GBTI Visa card between June 1st and August 31st. Don't have a Visa card? Visit your nearest GBTI branch or go to www.gbtibank.com. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
Welcome back. Former murder accused Leon Duncan, also known as Whistle, was shot dead late last night at Williamstad Road in Festival City. 3 other men, including a brother of the dead man, were injured. According to reports, the 4 men were on a bridge in the area playing a game of cards just after 10 p.m. when a car pulled up and its occupants opened fire on the 4 men. Eyewitnesses said Whistle and his brother Shaquille Duncan appeared to have been the main targets. The men were all rushed to the Georgetown Hospital, where the 28-year-old Leon Duncan, also known as Whistle, was pronounced dead on arrival, and the others were rushed into the emergency room. The Duncan brothers are known to law enforcement and have had several brushes with the law over the past few years. Earlier this year, Shaquille Duncan was charged with armed robbery. The older brother, Leon Duncan, also known as Whistle, had been charged with the murder of a businessman in 2013, but was freed after the jury returned a not guilty verdict at his trial 3 years later. Since his release in 2016, he has found himself before the courts facing armed robbery and other gun-related charges. Some of the cases are still ongoing. Let's tell you now that the hammering out meetings between the government and the opposition are expected to continue this week as the search continues for a new chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission. This week marks the 3rd week that the process has been ongoing. President David Granger is out of the country on a scheduled medical evaluation trip to Cuba. He's expected to return early this week. In a video release from the Ministry of the Presidency over the weekend, the president raised some concern that the opposition might not be looking at the consensual process for the selection of the new GECOM chairman, in keeping with the Caribbean Court of Justice's ruling. The president said it is clear from the CCJ's ruling that he has a role to play.
As far as I'm concerned, the interpretation is quite clear, and it means that the president must have a role. Must have a role. That is the word the CCJ used, must have a role. And I would resist any attempt to prevent me from exercising that function that has been given to me by the CCJ. The role of the president in the crafting and hammering out of a list must be respected.
So far, 4 names put forward by the opposition leader have been deemed to be not unacceptable to the president. Opposition leader Barra Jagdeo has since submitted 4 more names to be examined after he turned down 2 suggestions from the president. The president is still studying the 4 new names. The opposition leader, in a statement of his own over the weekend, said the CCJ ruling did not alter the constitution of Guyana, and it is him, the opposition leader, and him alone who will have to submit the 6 names that should all be not unacceptable to the president. The opposition has to formally submit 6 names of persons who must be not unacceptable to the president for the GECOM chairman position. That formal process has not started as yet, and the two sides have been hammering out potential candidates in keeping with the CCJ's advice. Well, in a letter to the Chief Elections Officer of the Guyana Elections Commission, the Private Sector Commission of Guyana issued a call for the house-to-house registration exercise to be suspended, while accusing the Elections Commission of being involved in an illegal process. The letter was signed by PSC Chairman Captain Jerry Gavaya and mirrored many of the publicly stated sentiments of the opposition leader Barra Jagdeo. The letter accused the Elections Commission of taking an extreme and dangerous action that cannot be justified. Mr. Gavaya accused the Elections Commission of starting an unlawful process that, according to the PSC, is in contravention of the ruling of the Caribbean Court of Justice. The Elections Commission, in a statement of its own last Friday, said that house-to-house registration is a lawful exercise and preparations for upcoming elections are taking place at the same time. But the Private Sector Commission, which is upset that the Elections Commission CEO has not been meeting with the body, said a complete revamp of the National Register of Registrants database in such a relatively short span of time before an election will more than likely disenfranchise voters, particularly domestic migrant workers, persons abroad for medical school, and other reasons. The PSC said evidence and experience indicate that the CEO is not going to be able to create a credible voters list within a year by scrapping the existing National Register of Registrants and creating a new one. The opposition PPP believes that the already expired voters list should be used for the upcoming elections. The government has said a new and clean voters list needs to be used to ensure credible elections. The Private Sector Commission also issued a call on the Chief Elections Officer to discharge his duty professionally and objectively and provide information to the public to correct misinformation about the voters list and the voting process. According to the PSC, the country's commitment to democratic principles, respect for the rule of law, and free and fair elections must rest on a truly independent electoral agency. The Private Sector Commission said GECOM's conduct at this moment in the country's history will be consequentially long into the future, and every employee of GECOM must withstand public scrutiny regarding their impartiality. The Chief Elections Officer has not responded to the Private Sector Commission's letter. 3 current executive members of the Private Sector Commission, including its present chairman Jerry Gavaya, are among the names that were put forward twice by the opposition leader to be considered to head the same Elections Commission. Turning now to the courts, a 24-year-old pregnant woman was today charged for assault after she allegedly threw what was believed to be dirty water at a group of opposition protesters last Friday on High Street. The woman, Cassandra Amsterdam, appeared before the magistrate Shirley Isaacs Marcus and pleaded not guilty to the assault charge. She was released on $5,000 bail. The court was told that on the day in question, while a group of protesters from the opposition were chanting close to her home, the woman hurled a container of water at them. Some of the water reportedly doused one of the protesters, Yanala Dalrymple. She is the virtual complainant in the case. Police at the protest scene immediately arrested Amsterdam and marched her before the court today. She will return for the continuation of the matter in September. And the former convict, 31-year-old Ralston Rowe, also known as Caesar, found himself in court today on an illegal firearm charge. Rowe was released from prison just 2 months ago after serving a 3-year jail sentence for robbery. He was reportedly nabbed on the 16th of July with an illegal gun and ammunition in the Campbellville area. The court was told that the robbery convict was cornered and searched by the police officers after they received a tip about his possession of the illegal firearm after he allegedly threatened a woman. He was remanded to jail today, and the matter will come up again next week. Across the Region is coming up next.
Falls, a trademark of China's Zhanghao Incorporated, located at Land of Cane in East Bank, Demerara, was incorporated in April of 2013, with over $10 billion Guyana dollars invested in a state-of-the-art 100,000-barrel fuel storage facility, a modern service station, an office complex, and a modern wharf that can berth international vessels. Having no association with any other fuel company, Falls imports its own fuel, which meets quality specifications, has all the legal permits, and is in compliance with international requirements. Its bulk facility can load 8 trucks simultaneously at a rate of 1,000 liters per minute, while the service station can service 12 cars at a time using computerized fuel pumps, which can facilitate the use of ATM cards. Through its professional team of mostly Guyanese, Falls wholesales and retails fuels to the public, including farmers and miners, and will continue to positively contribute to Guyana by providing quality products, service, and attractive prices. Try Falls today for all your fuel needs.
New Amsterdam, get ready for the year-to-year ladies event. Heineken presents Motivated 4. Motivated 4. The ultra-premium Heineken party. Saturday, 27 July 2019 at Club Eclipse, Main Street, New Amsterdam. Enjoy Heineken bucket specials all night. The Heineken girls and giveaways. Store opens from 9 p.m. with vibes by Father Moon, DJ Von Hyde, Gully Russ and Diamond from Team Fusion, Team Lockdown, and DJ Slaughter from Jungling. Motivated 4. Saturday, 27 July at Club Eclipse. Powered by Heineken. Strong vibes. Tunisia lifestyle. Westsiders Entertainment, 88.5 Rock FM, Little Rock Sweets, Candy Boss, and Rush Energy Drink.
The Ghana Elections Commission will commence house-to-house registration in your area soon. You must register if you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or registration. 14 years and older by the 31st of October 2019, a citizen of a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for a period of no less than 1 year preceding the qualifying date. If you were previously registered, you will need to register again. Look out for GECOM. Make it your responsibility to get registered. For more information, contact GECOM on 225-0277-9 or 223-9653. Email pro@gcom.org.gy. Contact the nearest GECOM registration office or visit our website www.gcom.org.gy.
Across the region right now, U.S. authorities on Sunday said a Venezuelan fighter jet aggressively shadowed an American intelligence plane flying in international airspace over the Caribbean, underscoring rising tensions between the two nations. The U.S. Southern Command said that Venezuela's action demonstrates reckless behavior by President Nicolas Maduro, whose government accused the U.S. plane of entering Venezuelan airspace. The response by the Venezuelan fighter jet undermines international rule of law and efforts to counter illicit trafficking, U.S. authorities tweeted, providing video of what they said was a Russian-made jet. The Trump administration and more than 50 other nations back opposition leader Juan Guaido's attempt to oust Maduro, whom they accuse of leading the country into a historic crisis. The socialist leader maintains support from countries including Cuba, China, and Russia. Venezuela's Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez said a U.S. plane entered Venezuelan airspace without prior notification, violating international rules. He said the flight also endangered commercial flights from Venezuela's main airport. Upon identifying the plane as a U.S. electronic intelligence gathering aircraft, the fighter jet escorted it from the region, Venezuelan authorities said, adding that there have been 76 such incidents for this year alone. While surrogacy has become a big money-making business all across the world, raking in millions of dollars for some countries, and Jamaica is not to be left out. Hundreds of Jamaican women are now tapping into the rent-a-womb industry, advertising their availability on a number of surrogacy websites. A surrogate is a woman who bears a child for someone else, usually because that person is unable to become pregnant. The procedure is either done through traditional or gestational surrogacy. The Sunday Gleaner in Jamaica found scores of Jamaican women offering their services on at least 2 websites, which provide a platform for intended parents, surrogate mothers, egg donors, surrogacy lawyers, and agencies to communicate. One website had 63 Jamaican women, while the other had 50, ranging in ages from 18 to 50 years old, from all across the island. Displaying their profile photos, the women were either already mothers or childless. Some legal sources in Jamaica believe there may now be the need for legislation to examine the issue. And finally tonight, international news. Hong Kong has been left in shock after a night of violence on Sunday, which saw dozens of masked men storm a train station. The men dressed in white shirts and suspected to be triad gangsters assaulted the pro-democracy protesters and passers-by in the Yung Long area. This is the first time that this kind of violence has been seen in the ongoing anti-extradition demonstrations. Several lawmakers questioned why the police were slow to arrive at the scene. Footage posted on social media showed dozens of men attacking people with wooden rods and metal sticks inside the train station. 45 people were injured, with one person left in a critical condition. Hong Kong's chief executive Carrie Lam told reporters that the gang attacks were shocking. She also condemned protesters for defacing China's main representative office in the city earlier on Sunday. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting.